was tough to watch, man. It was tough to watch. It was painful in the eyes for me to watch. There was not a lot going on. Because you expected to see a lot more from the teams, not Arsenal, where, yes, they did win the game, but they were awful. They were awful to watch.
Yeah.
They were horrible to watch. There was no creativity in the team. They're cheating. Are you telling me those corner kicks are legal? Are you telling me Declan Rice grabbing, who was he? João Pedro. Grabbing João Pedro like this. And again, it comes down to the officials.
Yeah, I agree.
What is allowed and what is not?
Yeah.
I mean, every time before the start of the season, they come up with all this playbook of the rules and regulations. But that goes out of the window after 2, 3, 4 games.
You're right.
Goes out of the window.
Yeah.
What is the rules? What is allowed and what is not allowed? Because when I watched that game, when I saw the corner kicks, the free kicks, what was happening in the box, it was a chaos in there. And that's what Arsenal want. They want that chaos. They want that pushing, shoving, grabbing.
Yeah.
Everything they want. It's a nightmare. It's illegal.
And the referee.
You can't allow that to keep happening. I said it from day one last season when they started doing this. It's not legal. It shouldn't be allowed that Arsenal Football Club can do this week in, week out.
I think the
that is my problem with the Arsenal when you talk about they want to win at all cost. Yes, win at all cost. But not week in, week out. Okay, maybe a couple of weeks you play football and enjoy winning. But this is becoming...
That's Mikel Obi. You just said it. You heard it from the horse's mouth. You know what they always say? That a man that wants to pull out the fly from the scrotum of a man should be careful in hitting the fly. It is either you hit the scrotum or you kill the fly. So one has to go. But you know that the scrotum is very important for the man. So it is either you treat carefully. And they also say that those that live in glass houses, you don't throw stones in the market square. Did you listen to Mikel Obi ranting about cheat? And just a few days after he made that nasty comment about Arsenal, the EPL had come up with a statement banning Chelsea for 1 season and banning them, both the first team and the academy team. They can't sign any player. But that doesn't mean anything because Chelsea have got over 42 players on loan all over the world. But the question is, they cheated. Did they not cheat? By paying to third parties, an unlicensed agent between 2011 to 2018. And for players that they signed at that time, likes of Eden Hazard, Scory, David Luiz, Nemanja Matic, Williams, these were players that signed, not to talk about other players. And you could also recall that they had a fraud of over 48 million pounds, which they reported themselves. You know, when somebody steals and decides to, that is not honesty. You knew you were stealing. You knew you were committing an error. And then later you just went and reported yourself. It's just because you don't want them to up whatever decision that is going to come and fall on you as a hammer. You decided to go and report yourself so that when a decision is coming up against you, they're going to meddle it. So who is the global cheat now? We chose to play football the way we want to play football. Want to go long? We don't care. Want to play short? We don't care. Set piece, ole, ole. We want to be scoring. As far as I'm concerned, I want to be scoring set piece every game. And today we've seen it. Teams are scoring set piece. Chelsea scores from set piece. United scores from set piece. Every team scores from set piece. The almighty Pep Guardiola team scores from set piece. So what are we talking about? Enough of the hits. So now, Mikel Obi, you have an opportunity to attack the EPL. Tell them that they are talking rubbish, that Chelsea was never a cheat. I once said it on the show. I said, look, that Chelsea, in as much as they've won stuff, they started winning during the Abramovich era because they bought trophies. Look at the avalanche of coaches that they sacked and how much has been expended in order to win the Champions League. And yet, the man that won the Champions League first was a man that never expected to win the Champions League in the person of Roberto Matteo before Tuchel came and won it for them. But the question is, did you guys cheat? So, Chelsea are the biggest fraud of Premier League football. But let's not talk about Chelsea. Let's leave Mikel Obi and his petulant act of talking. But the question for me is, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. EPL, what is happening to the 115-point count charges against Manchester City? How long is it going to take you to come to fruition to sit across that board in your boardroom and take a decision? Because you are quick at taking decisions against Nottingham Forest, deducting points, against Everton, deducting points, against Leicester City, deducting points, against Chelsea, banning them from signing players again and asking them to pay close to about £11 million as penalty fee. But what is happening to 115-point count charge? Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself $1 million question of what you're doing. Are you doing the right thing? Are you on the right trajectory in really projecting this competition that you see as the best in every league across the globe? But you are selling a very bad market. So I'm calling on you, EPL, to do what you are supposed to do. The same way you slid the hammer over Chelsea, do it over Man City. The same way you did it against Nottingham Forest, that you almost made them to go to relegation as well as Everton. The same way you did it over Leicester City. Bring your judgment day against Manchester City. What are you scared of? Anyway, for Mikel Obi, just remember that Chelsea, you and Chelsea, because you were part of that team from 2011 to 2018, so probably they didn't look at your own transfer saga. Probably they would have found out that there was also a dismissive procedure in signing you. Until I come your way again, don't forget that this is the Offside brought to you by Arsenal Fans Beat